From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Survivors of the tornadoes that destroyed homes in Arkansas in March have been blocked from receiving federal recovery aid after President Donald Trump rejected the state's request to declare a major disaster in March. Following an outbreak of tornadoes that also impacted Mississippi and Missouri, leaving more than 40 people dead, the Trump administration denied Republican Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders' request for individual and public assistance. The denial follows executive orders signed by Trump seeking to shift the burden of disaster response and recovery from the federal government onto states. How states will fill that financial void is not clear. The Trump administration has indicated it wants to eliminate FEMA, which spends billions each year helping people get temporary housing and rebuild after storms. FEMA also funds public assistance for municipalities after disasters. The Trump administration denied the request after determining the damage from the event was not of such severity and magnitude as to be beyond the capabilities of the state, affected local governments, and voluntary agencies. Accordingly, the Trump administration determined that supplemental federal assistance is not necessary. When deadly tornadoes touched down in Arkansas back in 2023, President Joe Biden granted an Arkansas disaster declaration request within 48 hours of the storms. CNN has reported that billions of dollars in disaster aid were recently sitting untouched. More than $100 billion of previously awarded grant money and disaster assistance was frozen at FEMA for weeks as agency staff awaited guidance for issuing payments in compliance with Trump's executive orders restricting funding for immigration programs and sanctuary cities. That was according to a source with knowledge of the situation. FEMA has distributed most of its backlogged funds, and the temporarily frozen funding is different from individual disaster assistance funding. The Arkansas governor has appealed the denial, writing in her letter to Trump, the state and its citizens are in dire need of assistance to recover, rebuild, and mitigate further loss. Without the support of a major disaster declaration, Arkansas will face significant challenges in assuming full responsibility and achieving an effective recovery from this event. Historic rainfall occurred during the first week of April over portions of the Tennessee, Ohio, and Middle Mississippi valleys. Runoff from that rain is just now surging through the lowest portion of the Mississippi River and is leading to moderate to high flood levels in some areas, including Baton Rouge. It may take until the middle of May for waters to dip below flood stage along the entire stretch of the Mississippi. However, rain forecast to develop over the region toward the end of the month could result in a new surge of water over some of the rivers in the basin. At the very least, downpours that repeat from portions of northern Texas to near the confluence of the Ohio and Mississippi rivers will lead to flash flooding in urban areas and along small streams this week. The flooding can occur even though only 1/3 to 1/2 of the rain that fell in prior events is likely to fall. This week, 2 to 4 inches of rain are forecast over a 2 to 3 day period. However, some locations could receive double that amount. That's all for now. You can find more regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.